there's some early numbers coming from gamesindustry.biz. And what they said is it's already the largest launch in the franchise's history. I would agree. I mean, that's not really surprising. One thing I think is important to distinguish, just because a game is the best launch in the series history does not mean it's the best game necessarily, because the industry is bigger than it ever has been before. Like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, the first God of War could have sold remarkably well at the time, but nowadays there are so many millions more people that are playing games regularly, so it just changes the math. Sophie, exactly, like Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that is, had the highest revenue of any Assassin's Creed game in history. Not necessarily the most profitable, but or the most units sold, but the highest revenue. And I think that game is atrocious, but that game had the highest revenue. And in large part, it's because they were appealing to the mass market, people who didn't normally play video games super dedicatedly were trying it out because they just wanted to be a Viking, and that appealed to them. But that being said, I do think that this is a mark of the God of War Ragnarok being significantly better than I think a lot of people even expected it to be. So, let's see, where is it? The first game was released in July of 2005 on PS3 and debuted at number 5, one of just 2 times that a main God of War title didn't debut at number 1. The second game in the series released 2 years later. Isn't it crazy? They used to be able to pump these games out in 2 years. Now it's like 4 or 5 years at a time. It's crazy. 2 years to pump out a new one. That's wild. Less than 2 years, actually, because it was July and then May. That's crazy. That's crazy. Same like Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas was made in 18 months. 18 months. Like, if you're ever wondering why that game is so buggy, 18 months. That's why. That's why. The franchise moved to PS3 for, I think they meant PS2 back here then. PlayStation 2. Yeah, that would make sense. PlayStation 2. The franchise moved to PS3 for God of War 3 in March of 2010. In mock of 2010. And also topped the charts once again. God of War Ascension arrived 3 years later, but was held off of number 1 by the Tomb Raider reboot from Crystal Dynamics. How far they've fallen. Aren't those the same guys that did the Avengers? I'm pretty sure they did. And then God of War 2018 got crazy successful. It ranked number 5 by units and revenue on Sony formats. Okay. The only PS4 games bigger than God of War that year were FIFA 19, which breaks my heart, Red Dead Redemption 2, makes sense, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, also impressive, and Marvel's Spider-Man. Makes sense. Very wide mass market appeal. Now we're seeing the launch of God of War Ragnarok, and based on boxed sales alone, it will become the biggest God of War title launch in the UK. And just to be clear, these are UK numbers. Other countries don't have to report this type of thing, so let's just be clear on that. But yeah, the numbers are apparently just crazy, crazy high. Yeah, it's the first cross-gen title in the series. 55% of PS5 console sales this week are a part of God of War hardware bundles. I didn't even know they were doing hardware bundles. It does suck though. Like I was just upstairs, and we were like rearranging some furniture, and the PS4 can do PS5 like remote play, basically, where it just streams from the PS5 to the PS4, so you don't have to just get rid of your PS4. It can actually do something. So I have my PS4 Pro still from God of War. It's the God of War. I guess I could look up a picture of it. God of War. I have this thing upstairs. It's shaped like the axe. It has the blade and everything. So I have this thing upstairs, and I still use it. I don't have the box anymore, but they used to do this for major releases with like the custom skinned consoles, and it was freaking awesome. It breaks my heart they don't do this anymore. Like, hopefully they get to it later in the generation, maybe, but man, it was so cool to have a custom PS4 Pro. Like, damn, because all it really is like a custom controller and then shells and different shells on the console. Yeah, I hope they do this. Allstate is offering a $159 2-year protection plan. Wow, what a deal. What a deal. Yeah, most recent one was the Halo Xbox. Yeah, it's just, I get it. They're struggling to fulfill demand as is, so they can't really justify taking time out and resources to do this kind of thing. But What are you gonna do? The one thing I will say that was kind of funny when I unboxed that collector's edition for God of War Ragnarok with the Mjolnir, on the box that shipped out, it said it had a sticker that said packaged date. The packaged date for that collector's edition was like December 21st or 23rd of 2021, and it was sealed and taped up. So that hammer back there and the custom box and the artwork for God of War Ragnarok and the disc with the game in it, of course it needed an update. Well, actually it was a code. It was this with the code in it, which I'll be giving away soon, by the way. I'll be giving away a copy of Ragnarok. I'll be doing that. I don't know if we'll do it today, but I will be doing that. So subscribe to get that. But that thing was sitting there for over a year. Not over a year. Almost a year. Some warehouse in the middle of nowhere. I just find that crazy. Like, they had the collector's edition done before last Christmas. Think of all the stuff that's gone on since then in the world. And they just had, like, it was sitting in a warehouse somewhere, packaged and ready to go. But they just pushed it off because it was delayed and delayed and delayed. It's wild. It makes me really wonder, like, all of these delays that they were doing, was it because they were adding stuff to the game? Was it just for polish? I don't know.